It's a crosstown crossover from West Bloomfield High School. The OAA Division I Southfield Lathrup Chargers take on Division II's West Bloomfield Lakers. And it's the Shaft. And how are you from WB? A couple of teams that have kind of contrasting records. West Bloomfield's played exceptionally well in Division II. Well, Lathrop's been up and down, but when you're in Division I and you're playing the likes of Clarkston and you're playing the likes of Pontiac Northern, it is a rough go every night. West Bloomfield is no slouch either. They started out 1-4. They won 9 of their last 11 games, and the 2 losses were a 10-point loss in double overtime to Southfield, and also a 5-point loss at the hands of Farmington. But considering the fact that we don't need standings because they're in 2 different divisions, this is a very important game for West Bloomfield, just to keep the momentum going, because they find themselves with an opportunity, if they keep winning their games, depending on what happens to Southfield, for them to share first place. They could be, I guess you could say, a shared titleist in Division II. And speaking of titleists, I believe that's the brand that Frank Plakas is losing as he's down in Florida, not only watching his nephews play some basketball, but that gives us a chance to slide Eve Clare in again, the winner of the Mediaone Color Commentator Rookie of the Year award, an award that we'll probably come up with next year. But it's good to have you back. And one concern I think they got to have here tonight is they may have to resurface the floor after this one's over. That is, if the coaches are telling us what's really happening.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a track meet on our hands today. Both of these teams and coaches want to get up and down the floor and fast break and look to run. They're going to turn the tempo up defensively, hoping to create some turnovers. That should be a fun game to watch. I'm really looking forward to it.
Tyrone Carricker said before that, his team, if they come to play, I guess every coach will say this, that if you come to play, if we come to play our game, we will win. And they had a great game against Southfield the last time we saw them. Last time we saw West Bloomfield, it was against Oak Park, and the Lakers, as young as they are getting better and better and better. And we turn our attention to every coach's dream when he's going to try to run, and that is to have a solid point guard. We talk a lot about GPI, not GPA, but my new invention, GPI, getting people involved, and Jamal Joseph does just that for Lathrop.
Well, he's going to have an opportunity here today, and there's a saying that goes, opportunity, when it meets experience, you have success. And he's going to have the opportunity to have the ball in his hands today to get the tempo going, get his team involved, get his teammates involved. He has the experience as a senior, and Coach Carricker, I know, is hoping today that equals success for Southfield Lathrop.
West Bloomfield, we talked about Donnie Wall in the first game of the season, so we will let his play on the floor kind of be the way we'll talk about him now. But, we've seen John Merritt, and we've seen a front line that really gets up and gets the ball. And if you're going to run, if you're going to rip, you rebound. You're going to run, you got to rebound. And Jason Mercer, who has really come into his own over the last few weeks, has been exactly that, a great compliment to John Merritt.
Yeah, he's really stepped it up in the last few games, and not only finding that rebounding what you're talking about, but he's found his scoring touch, and his confidence as a scorer has really started to come on. About the last 5 or 7 games, he's been averaging in double figures.
They've got 4 guys that can put it in the basket, and then they bring guys off the floor, off the bench as well. This should be a good game, and if the coaches are right, I may need to go down to the 7-Eleven across the street and get a little bit more water. I don't think I brought enough. But hopefully you'll hang with us as Mediaone's coverage of the high school basketball game of the week continues from West Bloomfield High School. It's the Southfield Lathrup Chargers and the West Bloomfield Lakers. We're going to tip it off as soon as we come back. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Best Western Executive Suites of Farmington Hills, the Oakland Press, and Holiday Inn of Troy. We are back at West Bloomfield, and the technical problem will permit us to just there we go. We'll start with the West Bloomfield lineup and verbally give you the Southfield Lathrup lineup. That's Warren Woodruff, the 6-foot sophomore. Donnie Wall, a 6-foot junior, being introduced by Bob Filar. And Jason Mercer, who I'll tell you, he is a young man who has improved immensely since the last time we saw him. And now the PA guy's son, Luke Filar, one of a few Filars who have shown their athletic prowess here. And John Merritt, 6'7", 200-pound, the human pogo stick. I'll tell you, you'll love watching him play. The starting lineup for the Lathrup Chargers, Jamal Joseph and Mark Williams. Jamal is 6' senior and Williams is 6'2" junior. Up front will be Eddie Ward, a 6'2" senior. Kenny Moore, a 6'6" senior, will be in the middle, and Anthony Duncan, 6'5" senior. A couple of guys who we saw when Southfield played West Bloomfield back a while ago. That is Art Maizano with the basketball. Vince Maizano is with him, and Dave Smith is going to be an honorary Maizano today, apparently. So we're about ready to get this one underway. Apologize for our intros that we'll get a good shot of most of the guys that are out there, but we'll just see how this game's going to start out, because I don't know it's going to be a feeling out process, but it's conceivable that it may start out a little slow.
Well, according to Coach Tyrone Carricker, the first quarter is going to tell a lot about what his team and the mindset of his team going into this game, so we'll see how aggressive Southfield Lathrup comes out today.
Kenny Moore will jump it up with John Merritt. Kenny Moore back with a little bit of an ankle sprain, and he is returned. He is good to go. Ball loose on the floor. Wall ties it up with Joseph, and so it'll be alternate possession, and the team that won the tap will surrender the basketball.
And something we should look for early on. Both of these teams are going to want to run. They want to play up tempo and fast break, but we got to see which one of these teams wants to play a little defense today, because as we coaches know, defense and rebounding can key a lot of victories for you.
Joseph will start it out now. Mark Williams is wearing the number that one of these days they'll retire, that number 20. Mark Chappelle's number. Stepped on that, don't know. Looks like for a second he stepped on the mid-court line, tried to drop it off in the middle. Eddie Ward's got it. He's double teamed, and the ball is ripped away by Filar, and out of bounds it goes. It'll be Lathrup basketball. Take a look at the two coaches. Larry Moore, that's Tyrone Carricker in his first year at the helm of Lathrup. Took over late. And there is Larry Moore in his first year, but he's been on the staff, the assistant coach last year. Donnie Wall, good penetration back outside. Filar with a shoulder fake, kicks it back out. And the left side jumper by Woodruff, no, but he's going to go get his own. We like Warren Woodruff. He doesn't have a lot of numbers, but this young man is just a steady player, especially for a sophomore. Always have to have a guy like Warren Woodruff on your basketball team. He doesn't look to score, but he's capable of doing just that.
Well, his coach called him more of a defensive specialist, but he'll do those little things, scrape after the offensive rebounds like he just did, and really try and match up on the other team's best offensive player.
Duncan looking inside. That goes off the hands of Kenny Moore and into the hands of Jason Mercer. No one has scored. We played him in at 20. Donnie Wall. Filar capable of a three-point shot. Wall capable of a three-point shot. Then you got the inside guys. Filar with a fake, the fire. Can't get that one to go. But there is Merritt, as we mentioned, back up and down. He has great jumping ability, and he also has pretty good hang time. 6'7" and 200 pounds. Threw that one away. Merritt ahead to Wall. He'll catch up with it and go in to make it 4-0 in favor of West Bloomfield.
Well, we're starting to get a little bit of that pace that we talked about early on.
That was a great catch by Williams. Got it back. Great look inside as Eddie Ward's going to go to the free throw line off the first foul of the game. Donnie Wall will pick it up.
Well, I know we don't have a shot clock in high school basketball, but I would venture to say that even if we had one, it wouldn't be getting down anywhere near the end in this game today.
Jason Mercer was the man who picked up the foul. Eddie Ward at the free throw line. A 6'2" senior will get Lathrup's first points that way.
And we might be watching here for a little pressure by Southfield Lathrup. As Coach Carricker mentioned, they like to play up tempo, like to get up and pressure. with some full court defense.
4-2 now. Just about 2 minutes into the game, and now they'll pick it up. Three-quarter court. Filar is wide open. He's going to try the three and nail the three.
And that's going to pull you out of your full court pressure in a hurry. If you can hit those open shots, you're going to make the other team drop back and play a little half-court defense.
Everybody in that front line can score for West Bloomfield. Duncan now trying to put it up, and John Merritt says, we'll take that, thank you. He didn't really say that. Wall, long pass down. See how high Merritt got up to get that, and you know how tall that pass was if John Merritt couldn't catch it.
We've got some interesting matchups inside. We've got a little bit of size and strength against a little taller, lankier player, and Merritt who can get up and jump.
So Anthony Duncan picked up a foul after all of that. A little pass interference. We get a substitution, and Deshaun Moore will come in, so they're going to lose about 4 inches up front. Wall against Jamal Joseph. That'll be a good one to watch. And knock away from behind by Kenny Moore, but he got a piece to Jason Mercer. And Jason Mercer will pick up his, or excuse me, yeah, he got a piece of Mercer, and it'll be the first foul on Kenny Moore. Woodruff now will do Wall up top. Out of the corner, Filar again. No, ball headed off in the corner by Eddie Ward. Here comes Lathrup. Williams, oh, he tried to dunk it over Mercer that time, and that wasn't a good thing to do. Filar, cross court, Merritt grabs it. Looked like he might have stepped backward a little bit.
Well, West Bloomfield, it looks like, has some size mismatches inside. It looks like they've got some size and might look to bring the ball inside to their post players.
Merritt, almost. They're going to call traveling, though. That was a Dave Smith travel call. It's like John Jenner is who that looks like. One of Media One's very own. The double check. Sometimes even the officials have substitutes. He got Mercer off his feet that time, and Kenny Moore will go to the line. And Kenny looks no worse for wear with that bad ankle, but lefty hits the stripe for a pair. 7-2, 4.5 to go in the first.
Well, that's a smart move by Kenny Moore. He's got the ball inside against a shot blocker, a guy who likes to get up and block shots. A little pump fake, he's got him off the floor and draws the foul. It's a very smart play by Kenny Moore. And
their success against Southfield was because Kenny Moore and others were challenging the big people of Southfield, like Jason Lige and Jamie Glens and Marcus Davis. So that is a part of his game that's going to be very important tonight. Too hard off the miss, and that one went off. Oh, I don't know. But West Bloomfield's got the ball, regardless of who hit it last. Woodruff handles it. Gets it to Wall. Misguided pass, and Kenny Moore, rather Eddie Ward, will get the first basket of the game for Lathrup and make it a 3-point game. Well, Eddie got up off the floor big time.
Well, that's what Southfield wants to do. They could turn it over and get easy baskets. That's where they're creating their tempo from. Filar's three, no good. Rebound, Merritt goes back up quickly, no. Goes back up again, and he will go to the free throw line. So a couple of offensive rebounds off of that one, and we get a foul called on. Looks like Deshaun Moore. You know, it's interesting also when a team is pressuring and forcing a team to take quick shots. It might seem like West Bloomfield's getting some open looks at the basket, but they're taking some quick shots also, which is what Southfield Lathrup wants to get them into. A running game, they're going up and down the floor, taking quick shots. Lathrup, I think, feels they can win that game. First point of the basketball game for first free throw of the game for Merritt. And Mark Flankbaum is going to check in, and Donnie Wall will sit down. Mark at 5'7". But he, like Warren Woodruff, just gets all over people and will run all over the floor to try to make things happen. Now we'll get another substitution. Kyle Brown, just a recent call-up to the varsity, the second leading rusher on the football team. The first leading rusher will be in the game shortly, Greg Derby. 9-4 WB.
Eddie. Got a little bit of an opening and got that one almost to go. Kenny Moore fights it, follows it. Looked like he got fouled as he went up, but the rebound comes off to Kyle Brown. A great outlet to Filar. Filar down against Joseph, up over him, no. Rebound, weak side, Merritt back up off the glass, no. And it's loose on the baseline, it goes out of bounds, and it will remain Lathrop West Bloomfield basketball.
Well, West Bloomfield's doing a great job hitting the offensive boards. A lot of those shots aren't going for them, but they're in this game because they're hitting the offensive boards and getting second and third shots.
Merritt wants it open up top and gets it open. The rebounding edge already belongs to WB, 11-3. Mike Brett has said so. It's got to be right. Merritt again, another rebound. This time he puts it down, John Merritt. And now we're going to get a whistle by Art Mazzano, and he's going over and talking to Larry Moore. Maybe a delay of game situation. Didn't see what happened after that, but it seems to me, since he's going over and talking to Larry Moore, that somebody touched the basketball.
Well, Merritt goes up and he loses the ball but stays with it and really hustles after it, and it gets a nice bank shot
right
in
there.
off the backboard.
Yeah,
you
that's
see
what they're
Merritt
talking
there.
about. Yep. Another good outlet, this time Kyle Brown, and he got it right in front of Jamal Joseph, and Kyle Brown puts one down. It's a 13-4 basketball game, and at least one team's running.
I'll tell you what, Jim, they get the rebound and they are looking to push the ball up the floor. That is impressive by West Bloomfield.
Kenny Moore turn jump. No, he tried to charge in for the rebound, couldn't do that. Look at Mercer. Mercer, the dump off, almost the dump off. Merritt tried the one-handed tip, could not get it to go. Here comes Joseph. One of the few running opportunities for Lathrop coming up. Great move by Eddie Ward, but he hit underneath the basket. Quickly down, Kyle Brown puts that speed to work, couldn't get it to go, and here comes Eddie Ward for Lathrop. There we go. Great move inside Jamal Joseph's first two of the game, and they've cut it to 7.
Southfield finally got some numbers coming back. They've been playing a lot of half-court offense. That time down, finally got some numbers and a chance to convert.
Merritt almost so good effort by Joseph that time, but that eluded him, and now we're going to get another substitution, and that's going to be an Eddie Van Meter entrance for Southfield Lathrup, and let's see who will sit down for the Chargers. He set Jamal down, interestingly enough. Mercer inside, that was not Mercer but rather Merritt. They chase after the basketball, and here comes Lathrop again. But WB does a good job of getting back defensively. The third turnover of the basketball game for Lathrop, 2 for WB. And now Jonathan Howard will come in the basketball game.
And for Lathrop early on, it seems like it's the little things that are really hurting them. They're not getting bodies on the offensive boards. You get a travel there instead of making a nice jump stop. Wasn't quite ready to make that pass. So hopefully Southfield can get these little things under control and really get themselves back in this basketball game.
Minute 25 to go in the first quarter. West Bloomfield Lakers, after every rebound in this game, and they have done exceptionally well once they have gotten the boards. They're moving. Nice soft jumper by Deshaun Moore. He gets his first two, cuts it to 5. Tough defense and a little offensive patience. Merritt kicks it back out. Kyle Brown for 3, wide. Rebound comes down. A good job by Deshaun Moore. Thought he might have knocked it off of Filar and out of bounds, but it didn't happen.
Well, this is where Lathrop's going to turn this game around, is right here on the defensive end of the floor. They need to get some stops and box out and get some of these boards.
Length bomb, no. Rebound, Mercer, up, got it. Yeah, they're going to have to invoke the Mercer rule, and that is don't let him get any rebounds.
Well, that kid can jump, so you're going to need to put a body on him and start pushing him away from the basket, because you know if you're right there with him, he's going to out-jump you.
Well, if one JM doesn't out-jump you, another one will. 7-point game with 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Williams, good look inside to LaShawn Moore. Deshaun Moore gets his second basket. Good job coming off the bench for Anthony Duncan. And so the lead is 5 with 25 seconds to go, first quarter. Mercer, well, good catch there by Filar. He's going to take it to the hole, lose the ball, and out of bounds it goes, and Lathrup will take it. And now we will get our first look at Charles Downey. And Donnie Wall will come back in as well for WB.
Now Lathrup's got some good looks. The last 2 possessions down the floor, they're getting the ball inside against that zone, getting nice looks at the basket.
They have Jamal Joseph back in the game as well. Joseph and Howard, Van Meter, Moore, and the man up on top, and that's Mark Williams. 2 seconds to go. The shot at the buzzer is a side iron miss by Jonathan Howard. And so, well, one team ran, the other team showed that they will if the opportunity presents itself. And so after one, the Lakers up by 5 on the Chargers.
Mag, covering events you want to see. Talking to today's stars. And bringing your community home to you. Metro Mag, Wednesdays at 4:30.
Well, how about this? One shot up every 4 seconds. We had a total of 20, what was that? I just looked real quick, 32 points, 32 shots, that is, in 8 minutes. So it's 4 shots a minute, which is kind of what we expected. Back into the action, and West Bloomfield leading it by 5, and a chance for Lathrup now after the turnover.
You know, Jim, Southfield Lathrup's really doing a decent job on defense, but you got to finish your defensive possession with the rebound. If they can do that, that's going to make all the difference in the world for them.
Right up top. Had a good look at that one, but Van Meter missed it. Wall to Filar. Cross-court pass to Kyle Brown. Oh, my. 2 exciting baskets for Kyle Brown already, and he's got speed to burn. Boy, did they look for each other. Joseph and Van Meter. Howard, Deshaun Moore, and Mark Williams. That's the group that's out there. Merritt and Wall and Mercer and Filar and Brown and Donnie Wall in a crowd. Throws it up, no. He's got the rebound, try to thread it to Merritt. Now they get a huge break and Filar steals it back. He'll get it off to Merritt, who goes up and gets grabbed. And Eddie Van Meter will pick up his first foul.
Well, if you're Lathrop and you're looking, you're getting some good shots down at the other end. Unfortunately, only getting 1 shot at the basket, but they're being able to get the ball inside against that zone, being able to penetrate it on the pass, they're penetrating on the dribble, kicking the ball out for open shots. They need to start knocking some of those shots down.
Here's the only 2 foul shots of the game for WB. He's now 3 out of 3 at the line. Lathrop 2 out of 4 in the first quarter. Now more substitutions. Jamal Cork will come back in the basketball game. And we'll also get our first look at Tim Hill, a 5'9" junior. They have lost the services of Javoris Jackson, who was hurt in the Southfield game and will not be back in action. Wish him the best and is getting back to whatever spring sport he is involved in. Merritt has all 4 of his free throws, and the lead is back to 9.
Well, Coach Carricker looks like he's going to keep shifting these lineups until he finds the one that seems to work best for him.
I tend to wonder whether he might be spotting Kenny Moore a little bit, because I don't know the degree to which that ankle sprain could be bothering him. Joseph, well, that was a tough shot. amongst white shirts all over the place, and here comes WB. Merritt, little spot, little carry, no call, back out to Wall. Kyle Brown bumped him off. No, they're going to call the foul on Van Meter. That's going to be his second.
Well, you can see Kyle Brown, the speed and quickness that he has. There's no wonder he's a great running back. You can see the kind of athletic ability that this kid has.
They're working on him in the weight room. He's gotten a lot stronger. Merritt takes the inbound and a good strip by Van Meter, but they got it back. Mercer finds a little spot. He'll jump hook it. No. Rebound comes down to Mark Williams and gets it to Jamal Cork. Cork quarterbacks it over to Joseph. This is a three on the way and on the board for Tim Hill. And Tim Hill cuts the West Bloomfield lead now to 6. Donnie Wall rolling around on the floor, coming back the other way. They see each other so well. Jason Mercer has 4. This time, Cork hit as he shoots the ball. Can't get it to go. Ball loose in the middle, and great job there by Joseph. And he got bumped on the way to the basket. Or did he step out of bounds? Apparently he stepped out of bounds.
Well, one thing Lathrop's doing, they've moved Jamal Joseph off the point guard duties and is allowed to free him up a little bit more to look for his scoring opportunities.
Donnie Wall trying to be a little bit fancy. They got, not only are they relatively quick and rebound and run their offense well, they're young. And Kenny Moore comes back into the basketball game. They need him inside. Need to get him the ball inside. Wall almost loses it. He got pushed to the ground. Ball loose, picked up by Cork. Cork's got more in the middle, and Eddie Van Meter did not see that basketball. And neither did Jason Mercer. So a battle of where's the ball? Yeah, they got to settle things down now as well. They're going to get a timeout. Get a 20 with 5:11 to go in the half. There is Larry Moore, and he's going to tell his guys, hey, we're as good as we want to be, and we're not being so good the last couple of minutes here.
Yeah, well, they haven't quite had the touch really all game. What's really kept them in the lead here is a thing called hustle points. And when I was coaching at University of Detroit, we used to track hustle points, and those are things like tip balls, loose balls, offensive rebounds, assists. And I would bet if they were keeping those stats in this game today that West Bloomfield certainly has that edge. And really what I think is the edge in this game today for them.
Let me ask you about what WB's doing, though. It seems like they're getting down there, and with the exception of some of the passes that directly lead to baskets, some of their big guys are trying to create shots just through athleticism, and the shots are a little off. I don't know if they're concentration or whatever. I'll try to point that out when I see it. Good job. Hill again almost got another 3. He's open on the baseline, got it inside to Williams and off the glass and on the board for Mark's first 2 of the game. And a steal. Boy, Eddie Van Meter, not to Eddie, but Tim Hill. And that shot sent over to the WB bench.
Well, Kyle Brown wasn't real happy about getting stripped on that pass. Kyle Brown, even though he gave up the ball, makes the effort to get back defensively, and you're right, he throws that one into the West Bloomfield bench.
Kenny Moore answers, and it's a 4-point Lathrop deficit. It's been as much as 9. It was 5 at the quarter, 4:20 to go in the half. Luke Filar looking for his second 3, in and out, no. And a collision, Kenny Moore got sandwiched, so it's which piece of bread got the foul. They'll come back the other way. They won't come back the other way. That's just the 3rd team foul on WB. That's the 2nd foul on John Merritt.
Well, there's a little thing in sports called momentum, and you can feel the momentum moving here from West Bloomfield over to the side of Southfield Lathrup. They picked up their intensity. They're starting to get to loose balls, created some steals, and by doing that, create some easy baskets for themselves. 7
of the last 9 points belong to the team with the basketball right now, and a chance to cut it to 2 or 1. Cork, good look inside, and well, John Merritt got up there, and he slams down another block. Mark Flankbaum now. Flankbaum and Woodruff and Charles Downey and Jonathan Merritt. And that man with the basketball is Merritt, up off the glass, got it to go, and Kenny Moore got him from behind, and Merritt will go back to the line. Moore's first foul, make it his second.
Well, Jim, what you talked about earlier, some of these inside players for West Bloomfield relying a little bit too much at times on their athletic ability, and that time what Jonathan Merritt did was he sealed his player off and used his body, not only relying on his athleticism, but sealed the defender off and was able to get to the basket.
Merritt misses his first free throw. They've all the WB free throws have come from him. That's Van Meter. His three is on the way and on the board. Second three of the second quarter for Lathrop, and so the lead is down to 3, and here comes that trap that's been effective. Over and back, and there are a lot of lines on the floor, so you really have to concentrate.
Well, you gotta love the energy of Eddie Van Meter. He's come in, he's hit some big shots for him, has turned up the tempo offensively. He's pushing the ball up the floor as the point guard. He's really helped to bring the intensity level of this team up, and Lathrop's really seem to have the momentum on their side right now.
Eddie Ward coming back in now, so he'll be in the backcourt along with Van Meter. Then you have Kenny Moore and Jamal Cork, and whoever John Merritt's shadowing over on the other side. Looks like Mark Williams. Now there's some discussion at the moment. I don't know what it could be.
Well, it looks like the photographer was not quite in the location that the referees had hoped. They're going to move him over to the other side of the floor.
Here's Dwayne Jones, one of the class acts you will ever run across as an athletic director. This is a person, but as an athletic director, and he came over here this year, and boy, what a great addition to this program. And I know that you know of his past as well, because he was a UAD women's coach for a long time. Oakland University as well, if I remember correctly. Let's get inside to Kenny Moore. He can't get it. Mark Williams, other side, got it down. Oh, it's a one-point basketball game, and Lathrop's owned the quarter since WB jumped out with the first 2 baskets. 3 minutes to go, second quarter. Get it in on the post. Mercer forces his way in, no. Rebound, Kenny Moore. Great outlet pass to Eddie Ward. Ward double team, finds a little spot on the baseline, trying to dish off. Put it right in the gut, if you will, of Merritt, and it went off of him and out of bounds. 2:49 to go, second quarter. Don't forget our academic athletes of the week coming up, as well as our halftime stats. That's after this quarter, because otherwise it wouldn't work. Kenny Moore tried to create. He also tried to draw a foul, didn't. Flankbaum spreads it out. Mercer, no. Rebound, Woodruff up, no. Rebound, Merritt up, and they're going to call an offensive foul on John Merritt. And if that is on John, that's going to be his 3rd, and indeed it is.
Well, Lathrop is now doing those little things. They're a different team from the first quarter. They're blocking out and rebounding. They're really doing a good job with positioning inside. You'll see Kenny Moore's got great positioning. He goes straight up. John Mercer jumps right into him. Offensive foul.
Chance for them to take their first lead. 23-22. Lathrop with the basketball. Moore. Back outside it goes to Van Meter. Williams has been very, very solid. I don't think he's sat down. Van Meter faked the flank bomb and threw that one out of bounds. He had Williams. Adam Stellard, by the way, has checked into the game as well. It's hard to miss Adam at 6'7". 2:06 to go second quarter, 23-22. Look at the speed of Woodruff, and he dishes it off to Adam, and he got it to go. That's great penetration, and again, one of those plays you expect from Woodruff because of the fact he just does those things on the floor that makes other players better, and Stallard the recipient of that one. Williams, Cork, that's a 3! That's the 3rd of the quarter for Lathrop. Jamal Cork's first basket, and the lead is nobody's. Great second quarter by Lathrop, especially the last 3 minutes of it, the last 3.5. Woodruff can't get it to go. Ball's grabbed off. Van Meter couldn't get it. Kenny Moore dives, and well, they stole it right back. Woodruff, he's going to take it in by himself, and he got it to go. Woodruff with his first 2. Wow.
That's great hustle by Mark Flankbaum. He really got his nose in there against the guy probably twice his size and dug that ball out of there, resulting in that layup.
2-pointer, 50 seconds to go in the first half.
You can see the difference with Lathrop here. They've gotten more ball movement. They've got more people movement. They're getting into the gaps. They're looking to penetrate and kick out against this zone. You really see a difference in this team as they're starting to get a little more energetic. They're ready to shoot when the ball gets to them.
Doing a lot of that without Jamal Joseph as well. Cork, that's a 2. Bounces up and down. Oh, Woodruff, he tried to get the basketball, but got a whole lot of Warren Woodruff that time. And now Warren will head to the other end of the floor because it's 1-and-1 time. Now Joseph will come back in, and Tim Hill will come back in, and Mark Williams will sit, and Kenny Moore will sit.
Well, just as we talked about in the first quarter, the difference so far in this game has been the offensive rebounding. The offensive rebounding of West Bloomfield, and can Lathrop block them off the boards when they're able to contain the ball and limit West Bloomfield to 1 shot. They're doing well in this game, but when they're giving up second and third shots, that's when they seem to be having problems. Just like on that last free throw, they gave up the offensive rebound there.
And so Greg Derby, the leading rusher on the basketball, the football team this past year, a quarterback that took a lot of punishment, but he's one of those bounce back guys. The foul, by the way, goes on Tim Hill. That's his first. He's a solid young man as well, and Dan Shrewsbury, among those he is saddened to see go. He's got some great memories for having coached this young man for the last couple of years. Derby gets his first 2. The lead is 4, and let's see how much patience that Lathrop has now in trying to cut it to 2 or less before the quarter. Eddie Ward for 3, in and out. Steller with the rebound. Woodruff will fire it. It'll count if it goes, but it doesn't, so it won't. And so after 2 from WB, it's the Lakers 29 and the Lathrop Chargers 25. When we next talk to you in about 90 seconds, it's our Academic Athletes of the Week and the statistics. We'll take a look at the first half that way as well. It's Lathrop down 4 at halftime at WB.
Don't want to pay for the call either?
Media One Next TV. Call 1-800-252-2492.
It is the chef and the coach back with you. Actually, the not the coach, the coach. And there is a difference, probably. Well, anyway, it's all beside the point. We're back here at the place that the coach most definitely had some legendary games in his 13 years, but he didn't want to talk about it, so he left for Florida early. And right now, before we go too far, let's introduce you to our Academic Athletes of the Week, and we'll begin with a young man who got it going in the second quarter, Eddie Ward. Eddie ended up with 4 points in the first half. He is a 3.3 student on his way to Morehouse College to study engineering. His mom and dad are watching, I'll bet you, and his sister Keisha's out there too. And I can't catch him on the basketball court. He's a cross-country runner where they actually don't try to catch you. He is on the high honor roll at Southfield Lathrup, and Coach Tyrone Carricker said that Eddie has the complete package. He'll be a big-time player for some college. That's Eddie Ward from the Southfield Lathrup Chargers. Smile, Eddie. We'll also take a look at Mark Flankbaum, and he's got that weighted schedule, that weighted class schedule. He's at about a 4.2 if you kind of look at the classes that he's taken. Headed to Albion to study computer science. His mom and his dad are probably in the stands watching. They got a doubleheader in this one. They saw Mark play, and his brother Kyle played in the JV game. He is the captain of the varsity baseball team and on the National Honor Society. And Coach Larry Moore said he's a very good role player who has started a couple of games this year. Very steady in the delay game. Great at settling the team down and getting the team refocused. So we congratulate Mark Flankbaum of West Bloomfield, and Eddie Ward is our academic athletes of the week. And next week, our wild card week, we'll have a couple for you from wherever we happen to be. Take a look at the statistical data as compiled by Mike Bretta. And even when you take a look at it, it really is a matter of two halves in this game, or 2 quarters, I should say.
Well, you can look at the rebounds there, and the numbers will show that West Bloomfield obviously is hitting the offensive glass and getting a lot of rebounds there. But Southfield Lathrup really evened that up in the second quarter, did a much better job of controlling the boards. And I tell you what, both these teams want to run. The way that you run in the game of basketball is you have to control the boards and rebound to be able to get out and run.
John Merritt led the Lakers in scoring. He had 10 points on the other side. Pretty well balanced. 3-point field goals really got Lathrop back in the game. They had a 9-2 run in the second quarter to make a 5-point first quarter deficit and turn it into 4. But they came real close and actually had tied the game at 25-25 before West Bloomfield scored the last 2 points, the 2 baskets of the first half. 3 apiece on 3-pointers for Cork, Van Meter, and Hill. 4 points for Eddie Ward, 4 points for Deshaun Moore, 4 points for Mark Williams. So the scoring is balanced, and so that's going to give Tyrone Carricker a lot of weapons to go to as we get ready to start the second half.
Well, we looked at rebounding. I will tell you what, watch the rebounding in this second half. Both of these teams, when they get a defensive rebound, they are looking immediately to push the ball up the floor, and that's where they want to be, in the open court, looking for opportunities to score.
That man standing to the right of Tyrone Carricker was his basketball, well, Goomba, whatever you want to call him, is a teammate of his at Wayne State University, for lack of a better word. A couple of former Tartars who have taken to the high school court. There is a look at Anthony Duncan. There is Larry Moore, who was very happy with the way his team played in the first quarter of play, but realized Lathrop was not going anywhere and really showed some great effort. And I tell you, give Tyrone Carricker all the credit in the world, because he just put guys out there, and they really responded for him. You know, that time they didn't respond. Here comes Woodruff. He's got it to a flying Donnie Wall. He can't get it to go. Filar tries to keep it alive, and Lathrop's got the rebound. Here comes Jamal Joseph. Good look off to Williams. He can't finish it. What a great rebound by Mercer in the middle. Oh, Warren Woodruff got, oh my, he got around Kenny Moore that time and couldn't finish. Well, they're coming out running, and now an offensive foul will be called on Joseph, his first. That's got to hurt. It was a good fast break, too. Neither team able to finish in the early stages.
Well, they're both getting up and down the floor, and they're getting good looks at the basket. I don't know if some of the big guys in the lane, that shot blocking ability and that presence is kind of making them take a second thought when they go up for that layup. But one of these teams needs to start converting those easy shots.
Well, that's 2 very quick fouls on Jamal Joseph. And he didn't have any in the first half. Now he will sit, and Eddie Van Meter will come in. So the man who is supposedly running the offense is having a little bit of a problem with fouls as we start the second half.
Well, you got to love Eddie Van Meter. In the first half, I thought he was really the difference in the second quarter. He brought that intensity defensively. He pushed it up, created turnovers. So Coach Carricker's going to go to him early and try to get that intensity back.
Luke Filar can't get that one to go. He starts the second half, by the way. Oh, good look around by Mark Williams, but he got grabbed from behind, and Donnie Wall will pick up his first. Stollard starting the third quarter along with so Merritt, with his 3 fouls, is on the bench, at least to start. There is a young man in the crowd that we want to talk a little bit about, and I'll do that in a second. Kenny Moore had the shot blocked by Mercer. I don't know if the foul's going to be on Mercer. It might be on whoever was behind him.
It looked like Mercer got that clean block up top. Somebody bumped him underneath with the body.
Yep. Adam Stollard will pick it up. So Kenny Moore will be at the line. We're going to get a quick 20-second timeout. We can mention this real quick. Anybody who's anyone knows that Eva went to North Farmington, and we saw the man who coached the boys team for many years and then went away and came back again, and that's Tom Negoshian. And the young man we were talking about that's back up there is a young man from Bosnia. You may have read about his story about getting to the United States, and he has learned to play the game of basketball on a high school level in Michigan, and will be one of the main cogs as Farmington, North Farmington, along with Farmington and Harrison and Losser come in here for the districts in about a week and a half. But great story, and Negoshian's a great coach, and Eve's coach when she was at North Farmington, Lance Davis, is now the girls coach here at West Bloomfield. So everything gets tied together in this facility on this night.
Well, they're two great guys, too. I remember Coach Negoshian was always telling me and encouraging me to get out and play with his guys when I was in high school as an opportunity for me to get better as a player, and something that I really appreciate today a lot more than I did then.
Oh, yeah. Those old guys get mean when you're younger. That was a great block from behind by Filar. That one out of bounds. Kenny Moore's having a problem at the foul line. No one has scored here in the third quarter. Gives me a chance to write the score down after two. Mercer out of the sky to block that one, but it's grabbed off by Eddie. That's Eddie Ward, and he's got his second basket. He's got 6. The lead is back to 2. But quickly down, and Mercer went up, and he was blocked by Kenny, and that's going to be the third foul on Lefty. And Jason Mercer will hit the line for the first time tonight.
Jason Mercer shoots 2.
The team that is able to run their half court when the other opposition takes them out of their running game might have a good shot at this game too. The patience. And I would think that as a coach that you got to teach your players that if you're a running team and they're not a running team, although we're getting 2 of the same here tonight, that don't get frustrated. The opportunities will come. Van Meter is going to take it all the way down. Reverses, can't get it. And Mark Williams has his third basket. He's been quietly impressive in this game. We're tied at 29. WB yet to score here in the third quarter.
And Jim, you talk about the half-court game and executing. I would give the edge to Southfield Lathrup in that category. They seem to be doing a much better job executing in the half court.
Quickly down. Eddie around and in. Eddie Ward has another one, and Lathrop takes their first lead.
And now here they come with the game that they like to play, getting up and down the floor.
And Luke Filar, he found the lane and got it down. His second basket, he hit a 3 to start the game. 31-31. Oh, good look inside. Eddie got it off the glass as his third basket of the quarter. He's got 10, and the lead is back to 2 for Lathrop. Johnny Wall through, got the bump by Duncan in the front iron, miss, and Anthony Duncan will pick up his second, and Donnie Wall will go to the line.
We're starting to clean it up a little bit more, starting to finish some of those layups that weren't quite going a little bit earlier in the half. Southfield Lathrop especially is doing a nice job of getting to the glass and hitting those shots.
Front iron, no.
Well, Jim, we talked about rebounding, and this stat really tells it all. Southfield Lathrop has out-rebounded West Bloomfield by a score of 9-1. And what that does, easy baskets, which they've been able to get some nice layups so far in the third quarter.
And that means that Lathrop has had something like 19 of the game's last 25 rebounds. Donnie Wall splits the pair. He has 3, and it's just 1 point Lathrop lead. They've got a good inside move by Duncan, went up, And when he came down, he was, well, actually having impaired as he was going up that time. And big Anthony Duncan will go to the line.
Well, if you're talking about positioning, this guy, Anthony Duncan, is able to get some positioning down low. He's got his body down nice and low, taking up a lot of space and making a nice target for his perimeter player to throw in a nice, easy pass to him.
Duncan's got that one to go.
You can see as he's down here nice and low, he's got the defense pinned behind him, goes up strong, and really the defense doesn't have much else to do at that point except to foul him.
Second one is on the board. So Anthony Duncan's first two gives Lathrup their biggest lead of 3. Little token pressure in the backcourt from Van Meter. That's going to be that matchup. You know, we talked about Joseph, but Van Meter's come in, and as you mentioned, did a great job on their point guard, on West Bloomfield's point guard, Donnie Wall. Into Mercer. Oh, good jump hook over Kenny Moore that time. Jason has 6. Those are the kind of things their big people need to do. Just get the ball and create in the paint rather than trying to create outside the paint. Eddie Ward is on fire in the third. Duncan tries to keep it alive. Filar grabs it. Donnie Wall looking for white shirts. Filar open for 3. Got it.
Oh, you can see that one developing. Filar slipped in behind Donnie Wall on that screen and was talking to him the whole way. You could see that shot coming.
Lathrup takes West Bloomfield takes the lead back, and as Kenny Moore delivered it to Eddie Ward, we have a WB foul one more time. And Charles Downey will pick up his second. It's already the 4th team foul of the quarter on WB. Eddie V for 3. Can't get that one down. And Lathrup down 2, but they've done a great job in getting back into this one. Filar's going to try another 3. Cannot get it to go. Wall will put it up. A little short way, front iron. Back it comes down to Williams, who got bumped as the ball went out of bounds. And I think Art Mazzano saw a foul. And indeed it will go on WB. That went on Donnie Wall, his second, and Kenny Moore now sits down a chair away from Bob Solomon. And Tim Hill comes back in the game. And a 3, who have hit a 3 for Lathrup. Eddie Ward, Hill tries to free himself up on the baseline, but some good defense by Kyle Brown, who's checked in, he and his quickness. Eddie Ward, he ran over. Now are they going to call a block? No, they are going to call the charge as Mercer stood there and took it.
Well, a little activity from your post players in the second quarter. You remember Lathrup had some nice flashes into the paint by their post players, and they were able to get the ball inside and get some nice, easy looks. They've got to get a little bit more movement from their post players coming to the ball and getting inside the defense.
3.5 to go in the third. Back and forth. There's the penetration, the shot by Kyle Brown. It's a 3. It's kicked out near midcourt where Luke Filar will run it down. Filar and Downey and Mercer. See what he can do now. No, kicks it back out to Filar. He's open for the 3. Got another one. His dad's on the PA. He has to be happy about that. An 8-point quarter for Luke. And the lead is back up to 5 for WB.
Well, a name like Filar, you know this guy can shoot the 3.
Well, from what I heard at Southfield High, his father could only wish there was a 3-point shot. Another WB foul. That's going to be their 5th. And Luke picks up his first 16 foul. So that means for the rest of the game, Lathrup will be at the line. While Joseph back in, and just 2 tonight.
Well, Jamal Joseph's penetrating in the lane there. You see the reach by Kyle Brown. That's what they need to do. You're talking about them being in the bonus. They can use that speed and quickness, draw those fouls, and get to the line and start putting some more points up on the board.
Boy, Kyle Brown took a walk to the basket. I think it's just that long first step that people are going to get used to. He looks back and wonders all about that. Now Moore will come back in the basketball game, Kenny that is, and Anthony Duncan will sit out.
Kenny Moore was one of the guys that was able to get some of those easy looks right about that high post area within that zone.
Tim Hill's going to move it to the middle. Now Joseph with Wall on him. Now Filar will pick him up. Moore was open, but so was Joseph for the three. And Jamal Joseph gets Lathrop's fourth three of the game. And it's a 2-point game at West Bloomfield. 2:20 to go, third quarter. Filar, well, he changed his mind at the wrong time. Great pass from Joseph, that is, to Eddie Ward. And Eddie Ward's had himself a great quarter. He's got 8 in the quarter, and we're tied again at 40 this time. Ward is out, and he'll take a little bit of a breather. These 2 minutes and 13 seconds, they're going to need him. He doesn't have any fouls, so just a breather. Almost picked off by Hill. Stepped in front of Kyle Brown that time and almost had a pick off in a bucket. So Woodruff now checks back in. Charles Downey will sit. So it's Filar, Wall, Mercer, Downey, and not Downey, but Wall and Kyle Brown. We got everybody. Woodruff is the other one. Gotta be a hockey announcer to keep track of all the changes. Tied at 40 inside the 2-minute mark. Woodruff, Brown. Mark Williams and Tim Hill and Jamal Cork, they snuck in on us. Jason Mercer dribbled the ball on the baseline. So another turnover in the game. That is the 11th turnover for West Bloomfield, 9 for Lathrop. Lathrop's only had 6 turnovers since the first quarter. Jamal Joseph with the fade fire and the fill. Jamal Joseph is heating it up a little bit. He's got 7, and it's Lathrop lead by 2. Donnie Wall to penetrate the dump off. Mercer can't get it to go. Kenny Moore keeps it alive, and Wall runs it down for WB.
That's a great pass by Donnie Wall.
Wall can't get it to go. Joseph's got it. Lathrop in the midst of a 7-0 run, and Mark Williams was cut off at the pass. However, I think cut off is another expression for a foul. And Luke Filar will pick up his second, and now we're shooting free throws. They are only 4 out of 10 from the foul line tonight. We'll keep track of that. 4 out of 10 when they start to go to the line every time. The library is noisier than this place is right now. Got it.
Well, you've got Mark Williams really filling the lane. He's going to the basket hard. I tell you what, he had his mind figured out right about the time he crossed half court that he was taking that ball to the basket. He took it hard and strong and was able to draw the foul.
Splits that one, and Mercer rebounds. 43-40 Lathrop. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. That one goes out of bounds and becomes the 12th turnover for Lathrop, for us West Bloomfield. Mark Flankbaum a little disappointed in that situation. Tyrone Carricker likes what he sees, but he'd like to see a little more of it. Jamal Joseph, great move. Kenny Moore for 3. Oh my, that was Cork. That was Jamal Cork with his second 3 of the game. And it's a 6-point Lathrop lead. Rolled down, blocked out of bounds by Hill. And Lathrop is doing it at both ends of the floor here in the third quarter.
Well, that last basket, I know Cork hit it, but Jamal was able to drive to the basket and set up that with a nice penetration and kick out for the jump shot. He's really come on here in the second half.
Jamal to Jamal for the jumper. Donnie Wall back out to Filar. He's had a good third quarter. Starting to make his move to the basket. Good look, good move, and count that one. And Luke Filar will go to the line. Boy, he has the outside threat, but he made a great inside move that time.
Well, that's what happens when you can hit that shot from the outside. It draws the defense out to you. A quick little pump fake, and now he's able to take the ball to the basket strong.
Luke Filar has 16 points. He's got 10 points in the third quarter alone. His father and I go back to high school days where he was, Bob was my English teacher and did a great job coaching baseball. Went over to Lathrup to do some teaching. And he's had some sons that have been very, very integral parts of the athletic programs here at West Bloomfield. Right now, Jamal Joseph back outside to Eddie Ward. Jamal back out to Jamal. He's going to take it, fire it at the horn, no, and so the Southfield Lathrup Chargers have continued what they started midway through the second quarter, and they have worked very, very hard to get back into this game, and they lead it by 3 after 4. No, let's try 3 after 3 from WB. We'll have a good fourth quarter. Hang in there.
We are all very different.
We have one thing in common.
It's not our clothes.
It's not the way we talk.
It's not our hair.
It's not the music.
Or our attitude.
It's just the fact that the first time we were offered marijuana,
We said what was on our minds.
Well, one of the great reasons, Eve, that this Lathrup team is back into this game, and that is they've been dialing long distance.
Well, you'll see, well, we got Luke Filar here penetrating to the basket. That's the time he was able to get to the basket and finish on a three-point play. He was a big reason why they made that charge at the end of the third quarter here.
Jamal Cork had a big, big three to, but right just before that. And the other thing with Filar, as we were going to mention, he has 14 points. He had 9 points, making 11 points in the third quarter alone. Donnie Wall in the post to Merritt, who was absent in the third quarter. He had 3 fouls, that's why. Filar, a little short J off the back iron, no. He'll run down his own. Inside Mercer, glass, no. Rebound Merritt, nets what they needed. But smartly, in all reality, I'm sure he would have come in if there was a problem, but Merritt getting his first basket of the second half. They probably would have brought him in if they needed him, but they needed to keep him on the bench with 3. Joseph, good jump step, and, well, Filar took it away from Mark Williams, and Mark Williams said, I want it back. He's got 9. Wall all the way through the Merritt. Glasser goes.
What a fabulous pass by Donnie Wall. Breaks down the defense, goes a nice dump down to Merritt.
Eddie Ward, little opening. Rainbow, no. Rebound, Filar. Jason Mercer, and so the M&M fellows take care of the first 6 points of the third quarter, and it's still, though, it's a 1-point West Bloomfield lead right now.
And this is keyed by Donnie Wall, and he's down there talking to him on the defensive end of the floor, trying to get his teammates to step up and play a little D.
Oh, Jamal Joseph creates a couple and puts Lathrup back up by 1. Wall, the penetration, the finger roll, and it falls. Donnie Wall gets his second basket. He's got 5. It's back and forth here in the fourth quarter. Cork, little bit of an alley to shoot. Mercer comes down with it, almost didn't have anybody to throw it to. Here's Filar. He'll pull up off the fast break and let it go. Luke Filar on fire. He has 17 points, and he has had all but 3 in the second half. And Lathrup calls timeout. Whoa, my, 54-50 with 5:39 to go.
Well, Luke Filar's coming down one-on-one. He said, I don't need any rebounders underneath the basket. I'm going to take this three myself. So he knocked down a big shot. You'll see he's coming down the floor. There's no rebounders underneath. He decides he's going to pull up and feeling good about him, shot and feeling good about himself. I guess you can call him Luke Filar up right about now.
You may, and you did. And I'll tell you another thing, you do not see a pull-up three on a fast break that often in high school. I mean, they'd rather take it to the basket and jam it, you know, or lay it up with a little bit of mustard on it. That was a courageous shot, I guess, but one he's probably made a million times. Now Jamal Joseph trying to answer, but Luke Filar does it defensively. Woodruff down, and boy, Joseph got his arm back to try to stop the shot, picks up his third, and Warren Woodruff will go to the line. So now we shoot every time the rest of the way. West Bloomfield's ripped off 11 of the last 15 points. Touch the foul.
Yeah,
here.
Luke Filar did a great job defensively to get that steal and sends Warren Woodruff in. I don't think Jamal Joseph was going to let him get that shot off.
Yeah, Warren Woodruff will have memories of that particular hit probably tonight. A cork three, and he uncorks another one. Jamal Cork's got 3 threes, and it's a 2-point Laker lead now, coming up on the 5-minute mark. Here's Luke Filar, back up top to Wall. Ball is tipped and grabbed away by Cork. 3-on-2, and it's stolen back by Woodruff to Filar. The pull-up, no, the alley-oop to Mercer. Why not? No, good. Oh my. Eddie Ward fights for it and gets it to Kenny Moore in the middle. Boy, a lot of bodies falling down and no whistle. Jamal Joseph got inside that time and grabbed as he went to the basket, and Luke Filar will pick up his third. They count the basket. That's what the crowd reaction was. It's either on Filar or Merritt, so count that one for Jamal Joseph. We're going to see that one again.
It's a little NBA continuation on that call. It looked like he got fouled on the floor, but refs give him the basket. I know they're happy to take that one any way they can get it.
Jamal Joseph has played exceptionally well in the second half. Let's see it as, well, we'll try to get a look at it later, but there are a lot of bodies around there for us to determine. Cork slapped out of the air that time by Merritt.
Well, that's a little presence they were missing in the third quarter, having Merritt having to sit out on the bench.
That's a three if it goes, and it's a back iron miss. It's kept alive, but grabbed off on the baseline by Mercer. And Mercer's a lot better player when Merritt's out there. They tried the alley-oop that time, and that one didn't go. Mercer helps Merritt, Merritt helps Mercer, and allows that fast break to go a little quicker. This is a three for Joseph. It's a back iron miss, run down in the middle by Woodruff. He's gonna go with Donnie Wall. Wall looked like he ran right over Joseph, but Joseph's gonna pick up his fourth foul, and that is a key number right now with 4 to go in the fourth.
Donnie Wall's really turned up his game here in the fourth quarter. He wasn't doing a whole lot. The beginning of the game, he was running the offense, but he's come in here, he's looked to take the ball to the basket, looking for his own offense. You see there, he goes strong in for the basket, but he's also looking to set up his teammates, really doing a great job for them in the fourth quarter.
That's the, if the coach was here, he'd say, Wall did it right because he picked the shoulder and he just attacked it, and he picked up the block. Every so often I remember something you said after 13 years. Wall's got that one to go. He's 2 out of 3 at the line. 1-point basketball game, about the midway point of the fourth quarter, and both teams are running. Got them both.
Well, I think important to mention right about now is we were talking to Tyrone Carricker before this game, and he said he thought it was going to come down to who had the ball last as to who was going to win this game tonight.
Yeah, that works in every game that you probably would do, except if you're in Salt Lake City. Kenny Moore jump hooks it down. Kenny Moore, big basket, get himself back on the board. He's got 4. Luke Filar over Ward. No, Kenny Moore. Huge rebound for Lathrup. We're tied at 57. 3.5 to go in the 4th. Eddie Ward's been quiet in the second half. Gonna rest on offense, as they say. Van Meter and Cork and Duncan and Ward and Kenny Moore. That's your group out there for Lathrup. Eddie's got it against Wall. Cork. Filar won't let him by. Van Meter backing it away. 3 minutes to go. Not a bad idea when you're tied to kind of rest a little bit. Ward. Oh, he got a little bit of space. That's all he needed. Couldn't get it to go. Found it, followed it, and filled it. And Eddie Ward gets his first 2 points of the second half. Wall back out to Woodruff. It's Wall and Woodruff and Mercer and Merritt and Filar. It's probably the way we're going to finish this game. Lathrup by 2. Wall.
Well, with the game on the line, both of these teams are trying to spread it out, get a good shot on offense.
Well, that was not a good shot on offense, I don't think. Eddie Ward, this team's got the lead. He's got the ball. He's just trying to find a space for himself. Now they're going to come to him. Van Meter against Woodruff outside. Inside the 2-minute mark of the 4th quarter, Lathrup leads it by 2. And a 20-second Tyrone Character Southfield Lathrup timeout. Here's Will Edwards, the junior varsity coach, on the right-hand side. Want to hope that his son Brandon's doing well wherever he happens to be playing whatever sport. Pretty good football player as well.
Now if you're Southfield Lathrup coming out of this timeout, you might look for somebody like Eddie Ward or Eddie Van Meter, maybe penetrating into the basket, getting to the basket if they don't have a shot, maybe looking to kick out for a 3. But really, they've got the lead now, so they can afford to run a little time off this clock. But they can't get too patient, because when they get into that, I don't think that's something that they're used to. They're used to getting up and down the floor and running and taking quick shots.
All right, if you're Tyrone Carricker, then we'll talk strategy here. Do you tell them, let's get a shot, let's make a shot, let's take a shot, or, you know, or even if the shot is there, just keep you know, extending the court?
Yeah, I don't think you want to get too conservative right now. You've got plenty of time left in this basketball game. I don't think you can go 4 corners and stall it. You still have to look to score here if you're Southfield Lathrup.
Lathrup on a 9-2 run. That's got them where they had gotten, and that was almost knocked away. Good job by Van Meter avoiding Mercer. Eddie Ward's got it. He's got a little bit of a space, goes, and there was contact. Kenny Moore up, got it! Kenny Moore gets his second basket of the quarter, and it's a 4-point Lathrup lead. Donnie Wall tries to answer. It's no good. Duncan with a huge rebound. He throws it off. Well, he thought he was going to throw it off of either Mercer or Merritt, but it went off of him out of bounds, and Lathrup has got to toughen up the defense with 1.5 minutes to go. They are up by 4.
Here comes Luke Filar.
That's his spot. Can't get that one to go. Mercer, great rebound. Gets it back up top. Donnie Wall. Double team. Filar's got another shot. He's going to throw it up off balance outside the arc, and a 3-point free throw opportunity for Luke Filar. Whoa.
Well, they were looking for him. They had a play set for him coming out of that out-of-bounds play underneath. Looked for him on that wide-open 3. Wasn't able to get it there. Came back to him again. He is looking to shoot the ball. He wants the ball in his hands here going down the stretch.
He has had an outstanding basketball game and cannot get the first one to go.
Well, you're feeling it as a shooter. You can see he goes up, pump fakes, gets Eddie Van Meter off the floor, and is able to create that body contact and get to the line for 3 free throws.
Oh, my. Now, Mark Williams and Jamal Joseph will replace Jamal Cork and Anthony Duncan in the Lathrup lineup. And Luke Filar needs this one to make it a one-possession game.
This is a big shot.
It is on the way, and it is on the board. So Luke Filar has 17, making 18 points. Here comes the defense. If there is going to be any, it's got to happen now. Eddie Van Meter got it inside, and a great job by Ward. Eddie Ward gets it to go. He's got 16, and the lead is 5 with a minute to go, and a steal and a walk. Oh, my. Jamal Joseph, rather, Eddie Van Meter got in the middle of that one, and he almost had himself a steal.
That kid's got all kind of energy. I'll tell you what, he dove on that ball. He was going for that steal and almost had it.
Eddie V with a key defensive play. This is about the time when we thank the folks that have made this one possible. Folks at Southfield Lathrup, of course, and that is head coach Tyrone Carricker and his staff, and also at West Bloomfield, Coach Larry Moore and Leon Douglas, his assistant, and two of the classiest athletic directors that I've come across in the 18 years that we've been doing this, and that is Dwayne Jones here at WB and Bob Herm at Southfield Lathrup, and also thanks to Jill Aldrich and well, we thank Jill Aldrich all the time, and Paulette Wright, who was Bob Herm's faithful assistant. So we get all the names in, and we thank them very much.
Now West Bloomfield's coming out here. They've got the ball. Now you might say you have to go for a three. Not necessarily. I think they should get something going to the basket. If they don't have a shot there, you know they have to be looking for Luke Filar. He's been the man so far in the second half. I know they're going to be looking for him.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about 1-and-1 now. If they're fouled, they get 2 free throws. Luke Filar. Merritt loses the basketball, gets it right back, gets it to Luke. He's going to fire it from the baseline. Got it! It's a 3! It's a 63-61 game, and Luke Filar comes up with it. Now we'll see if there was a West Bloomfield foul first or a timeout. That's what we're wondering. They call the foul on Filar. That is going to be his 4th. It's a 1-and-1 opportunity now for Eddie Van Meter, his first time at the line.
Well, that was a great shot by Filar out of the corner. That wasn't an easy shot. He had a man right in his face here. They got the ball off the scramble there, kind of got it tipped away, got him a nice look at the basket. You see a hand in his face, but it doesn't matter when you're feeling it. He knocks down that big, big three-point shot.
Kyle Brown will come in, and Warren Woodruff will sit down, and Eddie Van Meter only has 3 points, but everything else he has done exceptionally well. Can't get that one to go, and Kyle Brown runs it down. 2-point basketball game now with 38 seconds to go. West Bloomfield needs to score. Lathrup needs to keep him from scoring. Brown and Wall and Mercer and Merritt. Here's Luke Filar. Almost stolen by Van Meter. Dumps it off to Mercer. Now Kyle Brown in the lane. Forces it off the glass. No. Loose underneath. Brown up and down. Oh my. And John Merritt almost stole the inbound. Oh my. Right now, WB's calling timeout with 12 seconds to go. Whoa.
Well, Kyle Brown, that last time down, he doesn't take a very good shot the first time, but he sticks with it. He comes in, he scraps after the loose ball and is able to lay it in up off the glass. So Kyle Brown sticking with it and going after the offensive rebound.
Well, folks, I said this at Lamphere when we went into overtime. I think we and the folks that have been watching all season long deserve it. The margin of victories by our teams that we've covered this year have been a little bit wider than we might have liked. So it's games like this and efforts by these two teams which most definitely make it worthy of us being here. And you never know what you're going to get till you get here, no matter who's on the schedule. So let's set it up for you right now. Eddie Ward I was going to say Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Meter. Let's see what's going to happen. 7 seconds, 6. Jamal Joseph with the basketball. Drives, fades, fires, no. Rebound, Merritt. We'll go to overtime. He had a look, but he also had a couple of trees with which to deal. And so we are done with 32 minutes of high school basketball. No one's in the lead, so that must mean we've got overtime. And so our score after regulation, 63 to 63. And we'll take it that we're going to hang here and talk about what we saw. And I tell you, you got to give all the credit in the world first to Lathrup for getting to this point, and then to West Bloomfield for not letting this one get away from them yet.
Well, I think for West Bloomfield, you can thank Luke Filar for not letting this game get away. He's kind of been the man in the second half for them. I think if you're West Bloomfield, you got to start looking to some of your other options. Luke Filar's been doing it for you, but Lathrup's going to really be keying on him. So some of the other guys are going to have to step up and be able to hit some shots, as Kyle Brown did down the stretch. Donnie Walls hit some shots. Merritt hit some shots early. He's been in and out of this ball game, but for West Bloomfield, you have to look for some of those other guys to contribute, because Lathrop knows who Filar is right now.
Yeah, Filar gets in the big points in the big way, although he missed 2 or 3 free throws after he was fouled outside the arc. So he is definitely a weapon, and he's going to be out there. Donnie Wall, Warren Woodruff, John Merritt, and Jason Mercer's out there. Eddie Van Meter, along with Mark Williams and Kenny Moore and Jamal Joseph with 4 fouls, I might add. Eddie Ward is there too. So Kenny Moore and John Merritt will jump it up, and Art Masano will tip it, and Filar will get it to Donnie Wall. Inside to Filar, but picked off by Moore, and they call him for travel. I'll tell you something, I will sit here and watch games over and over, and I know it's a high school rule and it's the right call, but for a little movement like that and a travel call. Oh, we watch too much pro basketball, too much college basketball. That's my commentary for the night. 4 minutes, at least.
Now, if you want to set up Filar, it might serve you to get the ball inside to your big men and then kick it back out for the open 3.
We have seen Filar's ability to pass on the baseline to an open defender or to an open, and look at him cutting inside. He's tough. 21, making 23 points for Luke Filar. Inside, Kenny Moore had that shot punched out of bounds by Jason Mercer. See what happens if they come back the other end. Oh, Warren Woodruff almost picked that one off. He was headed down the other way.
And I really like this lineup for Lathrop. You've got a lot of speed and quickness. You've got some shooters on the perimeter and some big guys who can hit some shots inside.
Van Meter and Joseph. Joseph against Wall. Van Meter trying to find a little bit of a spot and not giving them anything open. They're going to have to get it inside to do anything, and Kenny Moore tries it, and Merritt got a hand on it. The ball is loose and grabbed off there by Woodruff.
It looked like Kenny Moore had the layup on the right-hand side of the glass and tried to take it left where the defense was, and he might have got a piece of that shot.
.220 to go in the first overtime. Luke Filar's got the basketball. Woodruff, Wall, Van Meter ran at him, almost picking it.
Well, West Bloomfield's trying to run a little time here off the clock, which is a smart move. I don't know if you want to do a total delay with 2 minutes left in the game.
Well, he tried to penetrate and dish and couldn't do it, and so Lathrop now with a chance to gain an advantage in this scoreless, I shouldn't say scoreless, because Filar's got the only basket of the overtime. That for WB. Joseph almost threw it away. And 45 to go. Eddie Ward. Ball movement's there, but the defense is following the ball. Time to go to work. Kenny Moore will take it away from the basket. Lathrop did a great job in coming back They had a lead, and West Bloomfield ran off, they ran off 9 of the next 11 points to get themselves back in the basketball game. Great move inside. Oh, my. Eddie Ward almost got that one off the glass and down. And now Eddie Ward will go to the line, and Eddie Ward is 2 for 2, but the rest of his team is 3 for 12 at the free throw line. So good man to be at the line if you're Lathrup.
Well, you gotta like Eddie Ward. They're passing the ball around the perimeter. This guy has been the one who's been taking the ball to the basket, drawing fouls, been able to draw the defense and dish off to his teammates. He's done a nice job of getting to the basket.
17 Eddie Ward points. Now Mark Flankbaum will come in, and the other number 4, Jamal Cork, will check in for Lathrup. Luke Filar will sit down. Luke Filar has 4 fouls, which actually would not mean for him to come out because they're on offense anyway. We are tied at 65 now with 1:06 to go in the 5th quarter. No, actually, it's the overtime period, the first one. It's a half a quarter.
That is kind of an interesting move to take out your game's leading scorer right now at this point with a tie score with 1 minute left in the ball game.
Woodruff, Merritt tries to get around Moore. Merritt tried to create that time, and Kenny Moore was in the way, spun him around. They took the basketball away now. 35 seconds to go in the first OT. Ward, Van Meter, Joseph, Moore, and Jamal Cork. It's the 5 that are out there. Flankbaum and Wall, Merritt, Mercer, and Woodruff. 10 seconds to go, coming up on 10. Van Meter against Flankbaum. The drive. Mercer got a hand in there on it and took the basketball away from Eddie Van Meter. And I'll tell you, the Lathrup folks wanted a foul call, but Jason Mercer did a good job of just extricating the basketball from the offensive man.
Well, Eddie Van Meter is going to take the ball in here strong. He's looking to penetrate. Mercer is right there, hand right on top of the ball. There's no foul there. That's a great defensive play by Mercer. I tell you what, also, great heads up right there, calling the timeout immediately and giving his coach, Larry Moore, an opportunity to set something up.
Yeah, we'll set the stage for you right now. It's 65-65. 3.1 seconds to go in overtime. Now we'll see who they will bring back out. They will probably bring Adam Stollett in to deliver the basketball. Adam at 6'7". Usually I would assume you try to do that if he is a good passer, but they're going to have to get the ball an awful long way quickly.
Well, you also have your starting quarterback for West Bloomfield football team. Not a bad guy if you're looking to throw one deep.
Well, Derby's on the bench, but you got the Lathrup quarterback out there. You got Kyle Brown, Donnie Wall, John Merritt. Luke Filar is going to try it from midcourt, and it'll cut him and goes. Oh, my. It came awful close. So, for the first time, I don't know if it's in Mediaone history or not, but we're going to a second overtime. And we've got a 65-65 game. Aren't you glad you came along?
This has been fun. This is a great game. That shot almost falling. You almost don't want this game to end the way these two teams are playing today.
Well, the last time the West Bloomfield Lakers were involved in a double overtime basketball game, it was against the Southfield Blue Jays at Southfield. And, well, they stumbled a little bit in OT and lost it overall by 10 points. But this is a Laker team that is, well, moving to, well, try to challenge Southfield, see if that they can get a little closer than 2 games in OAA Division II. But right now, I'll tell you one thing, Eve, smartest move of the night in retrospect was sitting Jonathan Merritt down for the entire third quarter, because I don't think that he has not had a foul since the 3 that he picked up in the first half.
You're right. And as you go into a double overtime, you start to look at those fouls, and you've got 2 key players, Luke Filar for West Bloomfield and Jamal Joseph for Lathrup with 4 fouls each.
Eddie Ward, it'll count if it goes, but Eddie's going to go back to the line, and as if we need to explain this into the second overtime, but 2 free throws will be shot every time there's a whistle, and Eddie Ward has hit all 4 of his. Eddie Ward has been Mr. Free Throw tonight. Basically, nobody else has been able to make them. First one is no good. Since he does not have a headset on, and here's what we're saying. We did not do anything to disrupt him. Got that one. First point of OT2. The sequel. Filar, Merritt, Mercer, Woodruff, and Wall. Mercer. In and out, no, and Woodruff throws it up, trying to either draw a foul or send a rebound. Now Williams will sit and Cork will come in, and Merritt will try to give West Bloomfield the lead.
And that's exactly where Merritt has hurt Southfield Lathrup tonight, is on the offensive boards, getting in there, tipping in those missed shots.
Second one on the way and on the board. It's appropriate that we've got a double overtime game here at West Bloomfield. It is sweeps week, so everybody's bringing out their special programs. That has anything to do with anything. Jamal Cork, little bit of an opening in the front iron. Miss comes down to Wayne Woodruff. Warren Woodruff. I call him Wayne Woodruff. I don't know why. Warren's had himself a great game again. Not with the numbers. He's got 3 points, but you watch him now against Eddie Ward or Eddie Van Meter. Donnie Wall, double team, gets it back to Woodruff. He gets it away from the sideline and lets West Bloomfield run their offense. Didn't see him standing there with a basketball.
I'll tell you what, they're playing awfully close to that half-court line right there.
Now we're going to get a timeout. No, we're going to get a foul. Let's see what we're going to get.
It looks like you got a timeout there.
Yep. Keep forgetting that the officials still signal who makes the call on the timeouts, although the coaches can do it now as well. So that works out well. 1 point game, WB basketball, 2:47 to go, second overtime.
West Bloomfield looks like they're spreading the court a little bit, trying to penetrate and look for some openings, run a little clock. You got to be very careful though if you're West Bloomfield. They're playing with the ball awfully close to the half-court line. And Southfield Lathrup's really stepping up defensively. You could just as soon create a turnover in that situation with only a 1 point lead. That's kind of a dangerous place to be with the basketball.
Dangerous place to WB with a basketball. And Leon Douglas and Larry Moore pointing that out to their guys that they don't need a 6th player out there, and that center court line is exactly that. Get out right in front of the scorer's table on the other side. Woodruff, he's got Merritt, but he's going to take it himself and started his drive, and Mark Williams got him from behind. So that's the second on Williams, and Woodruff will go to the line. Woodruff picks up his 3rd free throw attempt, now 2 out of 3. Second one on the way and on the board. Now the horn will signify the entrance of Jamal Cork, and see who's going to sit. It's going to be Mark Williams who will sit. Filar's over there getting hydrated over on the far side. I don't know if he's just a little dehydrated or it's a little warm in the building. We got to point that out too. A little warm outside for a February night. 2.5 to go. 3 point with West Bloomfield lead. Jamal Joseph. It's a three if it goes. It's a back iron miss, and Jamal Cork came down with it. So did Donnie Wall. They'll call a jump ball, and West Bloomfield gets it. Big miss that time. 2:18 to go, and here comes Wall. Flank bomb and Wall in the back. Woodruff, Mercer, and Merritt up front. And again, just like you were saying, see that went off the hand of Wall and out of bounds, and they were just retreating to the half-court line, just like you were saying. And they're not going to try to foul you out there.
Well, I think you still have to run your offense and be aggressive going to the basket. You don't want to be backpedaling and be passive if you're West Bloomfield.
Hard to get back on defense on the steal, too, if you're facing the other way. Eddie Ward stepped on the baseline, and that's the right call. Tried to actually look like he was going to penetrate and dish to Kenny Moore. Now Mark Williams comes back in. So Van Meter and Joseph and Ward and Williams, Kenny Moore. That one was almost stolen. Woodruff finally came up with it. Minute 40 to go. West Bloomfield's got the lead and the basketball. They're back out to midcourt again. Time they got away with it.
That's what you got to do. You got to get it at some points down into the wing and then kick it back out.
Right on the sideline again, and now we're going to get a 20-second Tyrone Carricker Southfield Lathrup timeout. Second overtime, 69-66. We'll just remind you that we call it Wild Card Week for a reason. We don't necessarily know where we're going to be next week, so we hope that you'll join us Wednesday night at 7 o'clock and Sunday at 7, and that'll kind of be our transitional period into the regular, into the postseason, and we'll kind of give you an idea where everybody's going. Now, if this is one of those times where they've got to create something offensively, but they also need to go to the basket and try to get a three-point play that way.
Well, I think when you talk about getting to the basket, you're talking for Southfield Lathrup, you're talking about Jamal Joseph. He's been able to get to the basket a little bit, although he's been more effective on the outside. But you're really looking to Eddie Ward, who's been your man going to the basket, being able to draw fouls, being able to draw and dish. And I think right about now, Southfield Lathrup's got to be pretty happy they're still in this game. They haven't done much here this second overtime, but they've got an opportunity right here to come within one or tie it up on a three-point play.
Minute and a half to go in the second overtime. Eddie Van Meter, his only basket of the game is the three-pointer. Got it inside to Ward, turnaround jumper, no, the one-handed Merritt rebound. Mercer's wide open, but Wall elects to go the short way. No pun intended. Flank bomb, Merritt. Picked off in the middle by Cork. This time they got to play it smart. Don't take it too quick. And now it's loose on the floor and it's picked up by Flank bomb. Merritt will jam it and probably put whatever punctuation mark you'd like on this victory by Southfield, by West Bloomfield. That's a three that does not go. Flank bomb. Merritt, 35 seconds to go. Woodruff, they're going to need to foul. They're down by 5 points, and now they foul with 20 seconds to go. That took a long time for them to force a whistle to be blown.
Well, West Bloomfield finally got it. You know, they've got, you know you're trying to run some clock here, but when you have those opportunities to get to the basket and score, that's what you need to do. And Merritt was finally able to get a wide open look and a dunk underneath. And like you said, that could very well end the chances for Southfield Lathrup here tonight.
Woodruff can't get that one down. 3 out of 5 at the line so far. 20 seconds to go, and Tyrone Carricker realizes that as proud as he's been of his team for coming back, they got about 25 seconds and 5 points to pick up. Eddie Ward, they're going to have to force it. Joseph does the three. Back iron, missed a Wall. And Donnie Wall will be, well, he will be collided with by Kenny Moore, and Kenny Moore will sit for the remaining 16 seconds of the second overtime. He leaves with 6 points and 8 rebounds.
Well, you can see by the way Kenny Moore is walking off the court, that ankle was bothering him a little bit more maybe than he let on.
Strong and tough inside. Donnie Wall will try to punctuate it even more. Kenny's sister, by the way, knows about winning championships. She was on the Country Day girls team that won the Class B championship a few months ago. Donnie Wall, 4 out of 5 at the line. The lead is 7. And I'll tell you something, the way Lathrop came back in this game, we didn't think it would get that way. Jamal Cork, back iron, missed, no, and that'll do it. That will do it. Merritt's going to come down, and he's going to jam it, or rather Mercer. I looked up at the clock, some lights were burned out. I thought that was it. Now that is it. And so the West Bloomfield Lakers, who the last time they played double overtime lost to the Southfield Blue Jays, come up with a huge, huge win as the Express continues. They've now won 10 of their last 12, and now they got the league to deal with the next 3 games. And so our final score in 2 overtimes, the West Bloomfield Lakers 75, the Southfield Lathrup Chargers 66, and we'll talk to the least sweaty of the West Bloomfield players and also to Coach Larry Moore when we continue at WB after a barn burner that we were promised and they delivered. Jim Shaffron back with the winning coach, Larry Moore. Took a little while for you to get to the final result, but I'll tell you, we'll start out by saying, got to give Lathrop all the credit in the world. They were going to run, they were going to gun, and although it didn't look like it early, they went with you step for step.
They're a great team. We figured they'd be running from last year. When we played them last year, we went over there and they blew us out. So, and we knew that they had dropped Southfield. And so another Southfield team came in with another double overtime, so it was almost deja vu, almost, but we pulled it out with the play of Luke Filar and some big-time rebounding from my guys right down the stretch.
The move of the game, if we had like a van line or something sponsoring, the move of the game probably came in the third quarter when you sat John Merritt down because of his 3 fouls. You looked like a genius when the game got into 2 overtimes.
Oh, you didn't know that?
That wasn't in your game plan.
Yeah, really? Yeah, that was what we talked about in the locker room, Coach Douglas and I, and we said if we can just stay close this third quarter, where Merritt can go in the fourth quarter and play strong instead of get him out there, let him get his 4th foul and play tentative. So we were able to. We got lucky and it worked out fine.
It looked in the early stages of the game as your big men were trying to create shots instead of your ball handlers. Was that by design, or were they kind of getting into the flow a little bit slower?
No, they were supposed to get the ball down on the box. Their player, big-time player, Moore, I believe his name, he was in foul trouble. So we wanted to get it in, but for some reason our big guys keep wanting to come out. And like I said, we were kind of rusty from the winter break, but we got lucky tonight. It's Lathrup, a hell of a team.
10 of your last 12. Obviously, actually, if things work out for you, you could actually get a share of Division II, but it's just a matter, obviously, with you guys of keep winning and get things started here with the districts, and the district's not going to be easy either.
No, the districts, we have Farmington, who beat us earlier this year at their place. They handled us pretty easily, and we have North Farmington. So we're coming into our own district, an underdog, but hopefully we'll stand up and play tough and see if we can hang in.
Hopefully some of the folks who didn't show up for this one will get out when the tournament starts the first Monday in March. North Farmington, Harrison, and Losser, and they're going to draw in just a couple of days. Congratulations on giving us a good game and giving your fans a good game and a good victory for everybody.
Okay, thanks. Good seeing you again.
Coach Larry Moore with an double overtime victory. So he's 1-1 in double overtime. Probably doesn't want to see another double overtime game the rest of the season. Right now he's got our player of the game.
Well, I'm standing here next to Luke Filar, and tonight it was Luke Filar up because he really put some points on the board tonight, a season high for Luke. Luke, you were feeling it outside. What was it like out there for you hitting those threes?
Well, in the first half, it wasn't feeling too good, but the coaches at halftime just kept on telling me to shoot the ball. So that's what I just no conscious and just started shooting. And I got in a rhythm. Just every time I felt like I had the ball, it would go in. So.
That's wonderful. Now, you're talking tonight, you have two teams that are looking to push the ball and move it up and down the floor, trying to play up-tempo. That second half, it kind of turned into more of a half-court game. Did that kind of fit to what you guys were looking to do?
Yeah, at halftime, we were turning the ball over a lot in the first half, running the break. And we realized that, you know, our big man, John Merritt, can take it down low every time. So we decided to slow up the game, get in the half-court set, and get it down low to John. And if they're double teaming on John, just kick it back out.
Yeah, well, it certainly worked out for you guys with the victory here tonight. Now, you're coming down. We're talking about district time. You get to play on your home court. What's your guys' feeling? I mean, you've been on quite a winning streak here lately. What's your feeling going into districts?
We're excited. We can't wait. We really can't wait. I think after the vacation, we played two tough Detroit teams, and we should have won both those games, and it just gave us confidence. We're such a young team that's all we needed. We needed to know that we could play with anybody. So once we found that out, we really couldn't be stopped, and we just got on a roll, and hopefully we can take it on to districts.
All right. Well, congratulations, Luke, on a great game, and good luck to you guys as you move on into the districts.
Thank you.
Luke Filar with a great 23-point performance and some other good efforts as well. And we'll talk about the individual ones as you take a look at Mike Bretta's team statistical compilation. Jamal Joseph, 11 points for Lathrup. They were led in scoring by Eddie Ward, who had 19, 2 with 9, Jamal Cork and Mark Williams. And then we turn it over to the green page, and that was Luke Filar's 23. A couple other in doubles, John Merritt with 18, Jason Mercer with 8 plus the 2 that he got to kind of end the double overtime. 9 for Donnie Wall, but Donnie Wall's points are not as exclusively important as some from others. Kyle Brown had 6, including a big putback as Lathrup had jumped out to about a 6-point lead, and with not too much time remaining in regulation, and then well, West Bloomfield turned it up, and they came back and they tied it, and it was back and forth the rest of the way. So the kudos belong on both sides of the court. And Tyrone Carricker, another tough loss, especially when you're crossing over into 2. But they've had some tough games and some tough losses, and he can rank this one very high among them.
Yeah, you can't be too disappointed with your team if you're Tyrone Carricker. They really laid it on the line today. Unfortunately, just couldn't get some shots to fall there down the stretch.
The one thing, too, that was impressive about, and I mentioned it to Larry Moore, was the fact that they took a big chance in taking John Merritt out of the game in the third quarter. Actually didn't play the whole third quarter. He had 3 fouls in the first half. The other guys stepped up. Luke Filar had a huge third quarter, and that was really what they needed, and that's what good teams are made of. You know, you talk about stepping up when somebody goes down to coin a phrase, and this time it worked for West Bloomfield, almost backfired on him a little bit.
Well, you could see, you know, coming down the stretch, Merritt was able to still have his legs left. You know, where other guys have been playing a lot of minutes, playing 2 overtime periods. Merritt came in, was able to sit out, had some legs left, was able to get his hands on some balls and put some of those rebounds back in the basket.
And how much ankle and how much heart for Kenny Moore tonight, because you know that he wanted to play this one. It was a big one, still just a crossover game, but still kind of a crosstown crossover, as I said a little bit earlier. And Lathrup will be in the Groves district with Seaholm and Groves and Brother Rice and Oak Park, and so that will be a team to watch, a young team that's still building and playing together. And I thought Eddie Van Meter really stepped up nicely for Lathrup when Jamal Joseph had a slow first half as well. Speaking of, well, actually, there's no good transition other than to say next week is Wild Card Week. We promised you a wild card, and we got it for you. It'll be seen next Sunday and next Wednesday at 7 o'clock and next Sunday at 7 o'clock. And at that time, after the draws have been made, after the names have been pulled, we'll kind of let you know where our teams from this district are going, or from our viewing area are going to be going in the districts, including Roseville, who's just a game away from clinching the MAC Blue. Thought I'd throw that one in as well. Well, Eve, it's another pleasure having worked with you again, and I must send Frank a thank you note as well for taking that extra couple of days, and hopefully we'll catch up with each other again. And so on behalf of Eve Claire and Mike Bretta, it's Jim Shaffron saying so long from West Bloomfield High School, where one more time, our final score in double overtime, the West Bloomfield Lakers 75 and the Southfield Lathrup Chargers 66. Good night, everybody.